So when voters are polled about their top issues in the election, the economy's almost always number one. It's always one or two, but most of the time it's one. And it's getting even more attention this week after the weak jobs report and all the volatility in the stock market that we've seen. So how would Tim Walz handle the economy? How has he handled it as governor of Minnesota? Jim Schultz joins us. He's the president of the Minnesota Private Business Council. Welcome, Jim. What would you say about Tim Walz and his economic policies? What kind of governor has he been?
I think you have to say that he's had an extraordinary set of failures as governor of Minnesota. Minnesota, historically, as you may know, has had a really robust economy, economic growth, and so forth. Since 2018, since Tim Walz has been governor, Minnesota's had some of the lowest growth in its history. In 2023, for example, its GDP growth was 43rd in the country. So the Minnesota's economy has lagged during the term of Tim Walz's governorship. And I think it's caused by a variety of things, but one of them is just the extraordinarily hard left policies that he's embraced during his time as governor. And among them, he's increased the size of our budget by over 40% and so many different things. And so he's really been bad on the economy.
I think we have a screen of his economic priorities. We skip to that and put it up on the screen. You could look at what Walz has done. There have been situations where taxes came down. See at the top of the screen. To your point, there have also been situations, the gas tax being an example, where taxes have gone up. And then we look through his administration's funding programs. So it's been brought up a few times already. Free lunch, green transportation, expanded affordable housing, legalizing recreational marijuana and that kind of thing. Is he a different politician on the economy as the governor than he was as a member of Congress? You're saying he's moved left? Is that the argument?
Yeah, well, when he was a member of Congress, he kind of still positioned himself as a moderate. Ever since he was elected governor, he's shifted hard to the left, and some of those kind of factoids that the campaign is putting out there are just not accurate. For example, he mentions a supposed $3 billion tax cut. Well, he adjusted tax rates at certain levels for certain folks, but alongside that, he raised taxes by $10 billion. And so you had during the course of his governorship dramatically increased taxes on Minnesotans, despite Minnesotans already being among the highest taxed citizens in the country. And so you see throughout the course of the Walz administration, really dramatic spending increases, meaningful tax increases, and then no corresponding economic growth. And so that's the reality that we're facing.
Who would you compare him to as a politician? What kind of politician? I mean, he's not. You wouldn't say he's like one of the, like a centrist, business-friendly Democrat we've seen more and more in kind of recent years. He's an old-school liberal. Who is Tim Walz on the economy? Who would you compare him to?
Well, it's interesting. I think these days he looks a lot more like a J.B. Pritzker from Illinois or a Gavin Newsom from California. He's embraced kind of the hard left elements in his party, both in economic matters and others. And so he seems to have wanted to position himself for this moment to potentially be picked as vice president or to run for president himself. And I think he determined that what he had to do in order to do that was move hard to the left.
Is that your sense that he had national ambitions? Because earlier some people said, well, that was one of the reasons he was picked is because he didn't. But you think he did?
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, his team, here in Minnesota, where I am, has talked about the possibility of running for president in 2028 and so forth. And so he certainly has had national ambitions for some time, and I think he decided to move left in order to get some credibility with the base of the Democrat Party.
Would you say he's left of Harris, or you don't know?
I would say he's probably he's a good match for Harris, and then Harris, as you know, is hard to the left, and then and he's a good match with her. And you go down the list. I mean, he embraced sanctuary state policies as she did, giving free college tuition and to illegal immigrants. He's been pro-crime in many different areas, failing to respond to the Minneapolis riots in 2020. So you go down the list, in a lot of ways, they're very similar. They both just don't have that distinguished of a record as well. Just get kind of mediocre records. And so I think they look a lot alike in many different respects.
All right, Jim Schultz on the Walz economic record, trying to hit as many angles as we can today. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.